So in the previous class, we have started this one, architecture of the email. Okay, we have seen briefly the what is the architecture of this email. The email architecture contains two subsystems, user agents and the message transfer agents, that we have seen in the previous class, and also the 5 basic functions of the email systems are this one: composition, transfer, reporting, displaying, and the disposition. Okay, that we have seen in the previous class. Composition is the creation of the new messages or replies. Transfer is the transferring of the messages from sender to the receiver. Next, reporting is the giving report about the message, whether it has successfully delivered or not, whether it is missed in the middle or whatever happened. Reporting about that sent message is this one. Finally, okay, we have the next one is displaying. Okay, displaying is the storing of the incoming messages. Whenever incoming message has him, it has to be displayed to the user in their email account. Next, disposition is the what to do with the incoming message. Okay, whether we have to remove that one after reading or before reading, or we have to save that one for the future reference, whatever we want to do. Okay, that will be, this is the, okay, that is the, these are the things we have seen in the previous class, 5 basic functions. Then we have seen the briefly about the user agent. The duties of the user agent is mainly he will take about the caring of composing, receiving, or replying the messages. Okay, as well as mailboxes. He will use a variety of commands for composing, receiving, replying to the messages, as well as for creating or manipulating the mailboxes. Okay, that is the responsibility of the user agent. His main responsibility is sending email, reading an incoming email, sending an email. Okay, for sending an email, he will use the username at the rate of domain address. With the help of the username at the rate of domain address, he will send the email to the destination. Okay, with the help of text editor, he will type the message. With the help of the destination address, he will send the mail. That is the sending email. When we come to reading email, okay, whenever an incoming mail has came, okay, it is the responsibility of this user and first to display that incoming mails. Before displaying anything on the screen, it is his responsibility to first display the incoming mail. Okay, after that one only he will go for remaining ones. That is the responsibilities of the user agent, sending and reading mails. Next, message transfer formats. Okay, when we come to the message format, the header will contain the following fields will be there. Two field will be there, which contains email address of the primary recipient. CC contains the email address of the secondary recipient's carbon copy. BCC contains the blind carbon copies. Okay. Next, from which people we are sending, send email address of the sender, received. Okay, this received is the line added by the transfer agent in the middle while that message is traveling in the network. This received, well, every line, whenever it is received by any router, one line will be added by the transfer agent in this received field. Return path indicates the, okay, is used by the receiver to send back the reply to the sender. He will make use the return path. Okay, to identify the path back to the sender, the return path will be used by the receiver. That is what we have seen in the previous class. Briefly we have seen those things. Now today we have to see about the two simple protocols are there. That is called, the first protocol is the MIME protocol, multi-purpose internet mail extensions protocol. That is the first one. Okay, then we have to see the SMTP, simple mail transfer protocol, which are used in the these email systems. Clear? Now see, when we come to this MIME, multi-purpose internet mail extensions, if you see this one, okay, the normal header, this is this normal header of the message report is given in the RFC 822. In the RFC 822 request for comments 822, the header field are specified. Okay, this header field is specified in that RFC 822. But this RFC 822, which specified the header, the RFC 822 has only specified the header, but it let the content entirely up to the users. Okay, the RFC 822 only specified the header format of that one message, but the content of the message is, there is entirely left up to the users. Okay, It is up to the users. It has not specified anything about the contents of the mail. Okay, only header part of the mail is specified in that RFC 822. Okay, previously we have seen only the header format that we have seen. Okay, when we come to the content, nothing has specified about the content. But nowadays on the worldwide internet, this approach is no longer adequate. This approach is not useful, not that much useful in the nowadays internet, worldwide internet. Okay, the problems in this approach for sending and receiving the emails are, while sending or receiving emails with this old approach, the problems we have is, first problem is messages in the languages with accents. Okay, for example, if you want to send the messages in other languages than English, okay, with our own accent, we want to send the messages in our own accent languages. Okay, for example, French people want to send their message in their French language. German people wants to send their message in their own language, German. Okay, Indian people want to send their message in their Indian language, Hindi, like that. Okay, one problem is, okay, as per the RFC 822, okay, the contents can be written in the English. Okay, happily it is supporting the English. When we come to the other accents, it is not supporting. That is the problem with that older one. Next, messages in the non-Latin alphabets. Okay, whenever we want to type the messages in non-Latin alphabets, that means our English is the Latin alphabets. If you want to use the messages in non-Latin alphabets like Hebrew or Russian languages, it is not supporting. Next, messages in the language without alphabets. Okay, if you want to type the messages in some languages which does not have any alphabets, like Chinese, Japanese language, Chinese language, Hindi language, Telugu, they don't have the English alphabets, is not involved here. Messages in the languages without alphabets. Next, messages not containing text at all. Sometimes in the mails we want to send audio or images only without any text. These types of messages are not supported by that, okay, world technique, which is specified in the RFC 822. Okay, messages in the different language accents, messages in non-Latin alphabets, messages in the languages without alphabets, or messages containing text at all, not contain text at all these types of messages. Okay, in the content part of the email, the message part is not supporting these things. Only normal English language, okay, US English or the UK English is only supported. When we come to the remaining ones, it is not giving support for that one. Okay, this is the situation up to RFC 822. So a solution has identified for this one in RFC 1341, which is called MIME, multi-purpose internet mail extensions. The name itself indicating this can be used for multiple purpose, multi-purpose internet mail extensions. Okay, with the help of this MIME protocol, we can extend the email features. We can type the messages in the own accents, in our language accents like French, Japanese, or Hindi. We can type the messages in non-Latin alphabets like Hebrew or Russian. We can type the messages in languages which does not contain alphabets at all, like Chinese or Japanese languages. We can type the message. We can send the messages which does not contain any text at all, like audio messages or images. Okay, with the help of this MIME, multi-purpose internet mail extension. That is the thing. Since RFC 820 is not supporting these things, okay, a solution has been proposed in the RFC 31, that is called the MIME, multi-purpose internet mail extension. Clear? The basic idea of MIME is to continue the RFC 822 format, but to add structure of to the message body defining encoding rules for non-asking messages. Okay, when we come to the basic idea of MIME, it is an extension of RFC 22. The features of RFC 822 is continued, but some additional structures are added to the body of the message. To the body of the email, some additional structures has been added, which will support the non-ASCII messages also. ASCII means which is in the higher language English. Non-ASCII means here we can use other languages which are not in the ASCII. Okay, which are not supported by the ASCII table. Okay, for supporting the non-ASCII messages, some additional structures has been added. By not deviating from RFC 822, MIME messages can be sent using the existing mail programs and protocols. All that has to be changed are sending and receiving programs which users can do for themselves. Okay, Here, without deviating from RFC 822, MIME messages can be sent using the existing mail programs and protocols. All we have to do are the changing of the sending and receiving programs which users can do for themselves. Okay, only what we have to do, where we have to do is the changing of the sending and receiving programs which users can do for themselves. Okay, it is providing flexibility for the user to change the sending and receiving programs. That means while we are typing the mail, we can set the font which we want, we can set the language which we want. Okay, it is providing features, options to the sender or receiver. They can change the sending or receiving programs. Okay, that is the only thing we have to do. Header part will not be touched, only the contents of the part will be changed. It is given rights to the user to change the things. While typing the mail, if we want to use the other language like Telugu, if you want to use, they can change the language settings to Telugu. They can type. If they want to use other language, they can change the language type and they can use it any language. If they want to send audio messages, they can send the audio messages. If they want to send without any text, they want to send audio or images, they can happily send the audio or images without any text. That facility is given to the users with the help of this MIME. See this one, the headers added by the MIME for the RFC 822 header. Some more fields are added by this MIME. What are the additional fields added to the RFC 822 header by this MIME? Is the additional fields are MIME version, content description, content ID, content transfer encoding, content type. These are the additional fields that are added to the previous header, that is RFC 822 header. These additional fields are added. MIME version, which is used for identification of the MIME version, content description, and human readable string telling what is in the message. Generally, we call this content description as a subject. Next, content ID, unique identifier, content transfer encoding, which will explain how the body is wrapped for transmission. That means content transfer encoding means what is the encoding mechanism we have used for transferring of the message. Okay. Next, content type. What type of message was there? What is the content? As it is audio files or images or the text or videos, whatever that thing. Okay, that is, these are the additional things that are added to this one. Next, after that one, MIME message transfer will be same thing. Okay, the message transfer by taking this RFC 822 extended header from MIME, it will transfer the messages from sender to the receiver, like the previous one, whatever the message transfer discussed in the previous class. In the same way, with the help of TCP connection from client to the server, okay, by taking either TCP connection, UDP connection, it will transfer the messages from sender machine to the recipient machine. That is briefly the MIME protocol. Simply about that one, MIME protocol. See that one once, read that one. Then we will go for the SMTP protocol. Read this one once, then we will go for that SMTP protocol. Okay, this is the MIME. Then we have to say briefly about that one, SMTP. SMTP is a simple mail transfer protocol, which is regularly used in the mail transfer. Okay, this is SMTP is the regular protocol which is used in the mail transfer. Okay, that is the simple mail transfer protocol. See, after establishing a TCP connection to the port number 25, generally this email will use the port number 25 will be used by the email system. The application email will use the port number 25. That's why he is saying, okay, this is a simple ASCII protocol. After establishing a TCP connection to port number 25, the sending machine operating as a client waits for the receiving machine operating as the server to talk first. In the simple mail transfer protocol, the sending machine will act as a client and waits for the receiving machine who is acting as a server to talk first. The server starts by sending a line of text giving its identity and telling whether it is prepared to receive mail. If not, the child releases the connection and tries again later. Okay, the server, as we discussed already in the previous ones. Okay, the server will start sending a line of text giving its identity and also its willingness to receive the mails. Okay, by executing the listen primitive, the server will indicate that the clients that okay, I am ready for receiving the incoming mails. This is my identity. I am ready to accept the incoming mails. Okay, then the client will happily send the mail to that one. Otherwise, the client will release the connection and tries again later. Otherwise, the client will close the connection, TCP connection, and it will wait for some other time. Okay, if the server is not willing to receive the email, the client will close the connection and it will try again later. Otherwise, it will send the mails. Okay. A few problems that are arising in the simple mail transfer protocol is one problem is relates to the message strength. Older implementations cannot handle messages exceeding 64 KB. One problem with this SMTP is since it is a older protocol, okay, some older implementations cannot handle the messages exceeding 64 KB. The message length it is supporting is most of the times is only less than or equal to 64 KB. If it is exceeding that one, it is not supporting. Okay, another problem relates to timeouts. If the client and server have different timeouts, one of them may give up while the other is still busy, unexpectedly terminating the connection. Okay, the other problem here is the timeouts. If the client machine and server machine both have the different timeouts are there, one of them may give up while the other is still busy, unexpectedly terminating the connection. That means if the client timeout is, the client will wait for 5 seconds for the reply. If the reply doesn't come within 5 seconds, it will close the connection. The server timeout period is 10 seconds. The server will wait for the 10 seconds. Okay, like that. Both have the different timeout periods are there. So what will happen? If the server can't give reply within 5 seconds, the client will close the connection. It will shut down. Okay, it will terminate the connection if the reply doesn't give within the 5 seconds. Okay, what at the same time, what will happen? The server is the server machine will wait for 10 seconds. Okay, even the client has terminated the connection, it will wait for 10 seconds. Okay, since its timeout period is more, it will wait for other, even the other one is still busy in other works, it will wait for 10 seconds. The timeout differences will be there. That is another problem. Clear, these are the two major problems that are faced in the SMTP. One problem is relating the size, the other problem is relating to the timeouts. Okay, finally, one more problem which is rarely occurs is infinite mail storms. That means infinite number of mails has came as a storm, unlimited number of mails has it received or okay generated. That is the rare situation which is called infinite mail storms. This situation but not occur regularly, it will occur generally very rarely. Okay, these are the three problems here we have. Okay, that is this is briefly the SMTP, simple mail transfer protocol. The SMTP has these problems are there in the simple mail transfer protocol. That is one problem related to the size, one problem related to the timeouts. And rarely we will get the situation of infinite maelstorms. This maelstorm situation will come generally like our deadlocks in OS. For example, see when we will get this situation means if host 1 holds a mailing list A and host 2 holds a mailing list B. Okay, each list contains an entry for the other one, then the message sent to either list could generate a never-ending amount of email traffic unless somebody checks for it. Host 1 is completely continuously sending messages to the host 2. Okay, host 2 is continuously sending messages to the host 1. Then it will happen that this will never ending amount, it will generate a never ending amount of email traffic unless somebody checks for it. Automatic generation of mails unnaayanukondi, whenever the system is auto generating the mails, what will happen in the list of that one auto generated mails, recipient list, okay, host 1 recipient list contains the email address of host 2, host 2 auto generated recipient list contains the email address of host A. So host 1 will continuously generate the mails, automatic mails for the host 2. Host 2 will also machine will also continuously generate the mails for host A, host 1, like that continuously. A never ending amount of emails will be generated between the two, host 1 and host 2. Okay, that situation is called the infinite maelstrom, but this generally occurs very rarely. Okay, this is the SMTP. Briefly, this is about that one simple mail transfer protocol, SMTP. Okay, read this one once. Okay, guys, this is totally briefly about this SMTP. Finally, we have the continuation of this one called the final delivery concept will be there. Okay, when we come to the server, sender has sent a mail to the receiver, okay, through the internet by calling their ISP. Generally, the people will send emails to the other persons through the internet by calling their ISP, internet service providers, through a modem. I am using Airtel, Airtel ISP. Through Airtel ISP, I am sending the mails to the other persons with the help of the Wi-Fi modem. We are sending like that. Many people will use the various modems with the, okay, they will use the internet through their modems by calling their internet service providers. Okay, so they will send the mails to other persons. What will happen whenever the sender has sent the email, and while the email is traveling, okay, before the email has reached the destination, the service provider has a breakdown, the internet provided by the ISP has breakdown. Then what will happen? Okay, the problem here is that sometimes the software server sender has sent the mail outside the system. He will send the mail. After the mail has sent the service, the internet connection will be breakdown. Okay, due to the problems at the ISP or due to the problems at the modem, the internet will be breakdown. Since the internet has breakdown due to the problems at the internet service provider, what will happen to that messages? Okay, what the message transfer agent will do? Okay, that is the concept here, final delivery concept. See here. One solution is to have message transfer agent on an ISP machine accept. Okay, one solution here is, okay, the message transfer agent has to be sit on the ISP machine to accept the email from its customers and store it in their mailboxes on the ISP machine. Since this agent can be online all the time, the emails can be sent up to it up to. So what will happen if the ISP internet connection has been disconnected? Means to solve that problem, what is the solution is, the message transfer agent will be sit in the ISP machine. Okay, he will collect all the emails from different customers and he will store those mails in his mailboxes. Okay, he will receive all the customers' mails and he will store them in the mailboxes on the ISP machine. Okay, so even though whenever the internet connection was breakdown, the receiver will not lose the message. After the internet connection has, okay, reconnected, internet has been settled down, then from the ISP machine mailbox, the email will be sent to the receiver. Whenever sender a mail, if any internet connection has been breakdown, to solve that problem, instead of losing the message, what will happen is the ISP machine will have the message transfer agent who will store all the mails which are sent by the different customers in their mailboxes. Since this message transfer agent is always online, okay, the emails can be sent to it 24 hours a day. Through the message transfer agent at the ISP, the email will be sent to the receiver. See here, whenever we send a mail, okay, through the SMTP protocol, okay, with the help of internet, it will be go to the message transfer agent who is sitting in the ISP machine, internet service provider. Through the ISP machine from the internet service provider, the message will be finally delivered to the receiver, okay, from the sending host to the receiving host. Through this ISP machine, the message is transferred to the other party. Okay, this is what is the final delivery. How the delivery will be happen means, this is where the delivery will be happen. Whenever the sender sends the message through the internet, it will first reach the, okay, if there is no problem at all, directly it will go to the receiving host. Okay, whenever sender sends the message in the internet, if there is no problem in the internet, it will reach the internet receiving host. But the problem is sometimes the internet can be break down in the middle. This connection from the internet to the host to the connection has been breakdown. So that what will happen is, so to not allow the receiver to lose the message, email message, after sender has sent it one, the ISP machine will store that message in its mailbox. The message transfer agent at the ISP machine will store the incoming mails at this mailbox, and whenever the connection was reset, then it will transfer those messages to the destination, okay, to the receiving host or the destination host. That concept is the final delivery. Clear? So this is briefly totally about the, this is briefly and totally about this one, application layer. Okay, in the application layer only two concepts are given, domain name system and the, we have given only two concepts, that is the domain name system and the electronic mail. So totally briefly, this is about the electronic mail. In the previous classes we have seen the domain name system. Okay, in the previous and today classes we have seen briefly the electronic mail. Totally this is roughly about the electronic mail. Clear? With this one our 16 unit is successfully completed. Okay, transport layer and the application layer, totally we have completed our 16 unit. The application layer contains two concepts, domain name system, which contains majorly 2-3 sub-concepts are the domain namespace, resource records, and name servers. After that one, we have this one domain name system. Then we will have this email, electronic mail. Okay, guys, this is the totally about our 16 unit. ఓకే గైస్, నేను మధ్యాహ్నం కానీ ఈవినింగ్ కానీ ఈ 16 యూనిట్ మెటీరియల్ కూడా పంపిస్తానండి. ఓకే, ఇకపోతే మనకు ఒక యూనిట్ మిగిలిపోయిందండి. వీ హ్యావ్ లెఫ్ట్ దట్ వన్, దట్ ఈస్ అవర్ థర్డ్ యూనిట్. 4th యూనిట్ థర్డ్ యూనిట్ ఒకటి వదిలేసానండి. I think 4th unit we have left, medium access control sub layer, which is a part of the data link layer. Data link layer lo sub part andi. Okay, we have to discuss this one. Tomorrow class onwards we will discuss this one briefly. ఈ 6th ఈ లాస్ట్ యూనిట్ ని బ్రీఫ్ గా డిస్కస్ చేసుకుందాం అండి. ఓకే, దిస్ ఈస్ టోటల్లీ అబౌట్ ద టుడేస్ క్లాస్. Okay guys, thank you very much for today's class. Again we will meet in the tomorrow class. Thank you.